Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, enemies and friends, welcome to the show that never ends. You are tuned into On the Real on the R Squared Network. It's a somber day today. We had a big show planned for you. There's a lot of news that broke, but some news unfortunately came down today that the king of Marvel, Stan Lee, passed away today at the ripe age of 95 years old. So, me and the fellas are just going to sort of talk about our thoughts on Stan Lee. I'm your host, Steve Johnson, and joining me today is my brother from the same mother, Mr. Johnson.
Hello out there in TV land.
All right, and Mr. Woods.
What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up?
How you doing today, sir?
Bad, not bad. You know, Stan Lee.
You know what, though? I do want to start out
celebratory.
Yeah, listen,
celebrate life.
Yeah,
this is the thing. I said this before the camera started rolling.
Don't need to be all morose about this.
Like, there is nothing to be sad about.
Right.
Anyone would be lucky to make it to the age of, not alone make it to the age of 95, but also have lived doing what they love and having their work adored and appreciated.
We should all be so lucky.
Right. So, and I said
his
this,
legacy will outlive all of us.
He leaves his mark. Exactly.
Right. He will, his creations he will live forever, in that his ideas will last longer than all of us.
Absolutely.
Right. And
I'm glad he got to see that his stuff will live forever, and he knows how much people love him.
Right.
And like he got his roses before he left.
Right.
Also, I'll say this, and I said it jokingly, but just, he was 95, and I said it as a joke before the camera rolled. Like, at 95, anything you die from is natural causes. It's like even a gunshot wound is natural causes. Like, he lived a full life, and
right.
We should celebrate and not be sad, right?
Exactly.
There is the thing to be sad about.
He's not. It's not like it's Michael Jackson or Prince, where they were just gone too soon. You know what I mean?
What's sad is the vultures around him. In his
You mean at the end, at the twilight, right?
Yeah.
Of his life.
Like, people that he trusted, and just trying to use him because they knew he was going, and they just trying to get a piece of the pie.
Yeah.
That's a scummy thing to do. Right after losing his wife last year, and then to be dealing with that in his last year of life, that's kind of whack.
And Betty White is still around.
Yeah, man.
Still kicking it.
She got to the last vial of the Fountain of Youth.
She can get that.
So, Mr. Johnson, do you want to just share a random memory about?
I mean, Stan Lee shaped, our childhoods. Like, everything that we see now is because of Stan Lee. All the great Marvel movies that we know and love, the whole, all these things that entertain us.
What about the great Marvel toys and cartoon shows?
I mean, everything. The X-Men 90s
and
show.
the Spider-Man underwear. Everybody had it as a kid.
And all of that stuff, man. I mean,
and that old Japanese Spider-Man TV show.
Yeah.
Yo, side note, fun fact. Stan Lee had signed a lifelong contract to be a part of Marvel.
Well, I actually have quite a few fun facts, because I just finished that book, the Slugfest, the 50-year rivalry between Marvel and DC.
Marvel, DC?
Yeah.
Okay.
Stan Lee also worked for DC for one book. It was during the Marvel bankruptcy years.
Right.
And Marvel had gotten bought out by some investment firm.
Right.
And they did not.
Marvel Enterprises?
Right. They didn't want to renew his contract, because at that point he was out in Hollywood trying to find like movie deals. He wasn't involved in the publishing or whatever. So because he was out of contract, because whoever owned the company was trying to save money, they were like, why are we paying Stan Lee $3 million a year for doing nothing?
Right.
So DC was like, oh, hey, Stan Lee, here's $1 million. It'll be a thing, and you'll do a book for us. And so they go and do the book, and like Stan Lee's like on a call with them, And then they're talking about ideas, and Stan Lee's like, yeah, I like this, I like that. And Stan Lee's like, yeah, you guys don't need me anymore, do you? Yeah. Collect the check. And then the book really didn't do anything, so it's kind of like a waste. Right. But then Marvel realized that the way, this is the reason he had the lifelong contract. They realized that if he left, his contract was such that his characters would go with him. Right. So they signed him to a lifelong contract so that they could
where he can keep have the minimal time at the office, right? It was like
doesn't
20%.
matter. He was on a stipend of a few $1 million a year plus some cut of the movies.
But it was there for him to be there like very little.
Because technically, if he left the company,
he would bring the characters with him.
I mean, it would be a legal battle, but there was language in his contract that technically he could take the characters.
Which is also part of the language of why he kind of keeps that credit to himself, even though we know that there's others.
I mean, Bob Kane is way worse, right? They had to fight after Bob Kane died to give Bill Finger credit for Batman.
Just for
at least Stan Lee will tell you. There's no interview he'll do where he's like, he couldn't do it without Kirby or Ditko or John Romita.
He always bigs them up.
But him and Jack Kirby had a beef for a little while.
No, that's what I'm saying. They had a fallout.
Right. But he realized that it wasn't because of Stan or whatever. It's just like Stan was just more vocal, and Stan just had a personality, and it's just like he didn't have that.
Right, and I think the low point in their relationship, because
realized that
it was a big get for DC, because Marvel was always poaching DC talent, like artists and writers.
The writers.
And Kirby had a falling out, not so much with Stan Lee, but also with the company itself.
The company itself and the finances and things.
So he goes over to DC and then makes like some villain that steals all your power, and it had like a name that rhymed with Stan Lee, and and that shit hurt Stan's feelings.
That's called sneak dissing.
No, but they like he had called him up on the radio, and I heard the interview where they squashed everything because he was just mad that Stan was getting a lot of opportunities. Like Stan was always on TV, and it's just like he's like, I'm the one drawing all of this stuff. I'm the He's just putting the words to it, but it's just like because Stan was just so vocal and he had such a magnetic personality, people just gravitated towards him. He would write back to the fans in the back of the books,
And they would come to him and ask him questions, ask him for the interview.
Like he was so personable, so that's why people wanted to talk to him. But it's just like Jack Kirby was just like so unassuming. He just was like looked like an old man. He didn't have that pizzazz. He didn't have that thing.
Well, he just wanted to draw.
That's not Stan's fault,
Right, and speaking of the what he did in the back of the book, and we are going to talk about how he changed comics, but before there was any Twitter, he would have a newsletter in the back of every book where he'd have a direct connection with the audience, right?
That's what I was just saying.
Right. And that was a big
his
thing.
Views and opinion.
Yeah, and also he would basically say to the fans, well, what do you want to see? Like, everybody felt included, and that was the difference. A lot of things with DC, because they had Batman and Superman first, they were like the guys that, from Mad Men, like they wore suit and ties to work and smoked cigars and had secretaries. Right. You know what I mean? And they were sort of above it all, right? But Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, to his credit, they had this, connection with the fans. And I want to
They wanted to make sure that there was an engagement that was going on with the fans, that they didn't want to have them like on an island. Right. That, we're just giving you this and you should be proud of it. No, they wanted to, immerse the fans into the world, which is why he always started those things like, hey, true believers, and, why he wanted to get you in or bring you in rather into his world, because he was saying that this world is not just for me. This is for you guys. I make this for you guys.
Right. And also, and this is the thing, it was called the Soapbox, right? We said that, the name of the column at the end. So Stan Lee and Jack Kirby also created Black Panther, right?
Yes.
And the X-Men, right? And we know that the X-Men was an allegory at the time for the civil rights movement, right?
Martin Luther King. Right.
And Black Panther was the first black superhero.
Right.
He
comics.
Predates Luke Cage?
Yes, Luke Cage was in the exploitation era in the 70s. You had a few black characters come out at that time, but Black Panther was first. First appeared in Fantastic Four. I can't remember which number. But the thing about that character is this was a stance that Kirby and Stan Lee wrote. The publishers did not think the public could handle a black superhero on the cover. Mm-hmm. And so they originally drew Black Panther, and we talked about this, like Batman. He had a cowl where his face was showing. And so they told them, oh, cover his face or don't put him on the cover. And Stan Lee and Jack Kirby said, F that, and gave him the cowl like Batman so you could see his face that he was a black dude. And the publisher, the reason Black Panther has a full mask now is because in the original issue, the publisher, after they sent it out for print, colored it in.
Right, so they kept inking
the right. audience wouldn't see. But if you have those original issues, you can see the lines, even though they're colored in. Because they defied
yes. So publisher. Black Panther first appeared in Fantastic Four issue 52 on July 1966. He predates Luke Cage by 5 years.
Right. And the other thing is this is a letter from that was I'm sorry?
6 years or something.
Yes. But I'm going to just read
right around that time the Black Panthers were formed.
Yes.
Interesting enough.
Technically though, before the Black Panther character, I think he appeared a couple of months before the Black Panthers were like news items on.
You think they stole the name?
I think they stole the name.
No. Yeah.
I mean, maybe Stan Lee just had his ear to the streets. He's from the Bronx.
Hey,
man.
But
New York legend out here,
but again, I want to read you something from that soapbox where he connected with his fans. In the 60s, because Stan Lee was never one to be quiet about what he felt were injustices in the world.
Okay.
So this is a letter that Stan wrote in the 1960s, just looking at the headlines and looking what the world was out there.
All right.
So he says, let's lay it right out on the line. Bigotry and racism are among the deadliest social ills plaguing the world today. But unlike a team of costume supervillains, they can't be halted with a punch or with a punch in the snoot or a zap from a ray gun. The only way to destroy them is to expose them, to reveal them for the insidious evils they really are. The bigot is the unreasoning hater, one who hates blindly, fantastically, or fanatically, discriminately, one who hates blindly, fanatically, and discriminately. If his hang-up is black men, he hates all black men. If a redhead once offended him, he hates all redheads. If some foreigner if some foreigner beat him to a job, he's down on all foreigners. He hates people he's never seen, people he's never known, with equal intensity, with equal venom. Now we're not trying to say it's unreasonable. Now we're not trying to say it's unreasonable for one human being to bug another. But although anyone has the right to dislike another individual, it's totally irrational, patently insane to condemn an entire race, to despise an entire nation, to vilify an entire religion. Sooner or later, we must learn to judge each other on our own merits. Sooner or later, if man is ever to be worthy of his destiny, we must fill our hearts with tolerance for them and only then. We must fill our hearts with tolerance, for then and only then will we truly be worthy of the concept that man was created in the image of God, a God who calls us all his children. That's, again, letter from Stan in the 60s.
Yeah, white supremacists didn't get the memo.
What's that?
So you need to work on your reading.
First of all, you don't know how small this is, and it is
you might need glasses,
the print. Well, I ordered glasses today. I'm sorry.
To get through. That's like you was one of them kids was sweating reading in school. Like,
The point
that
is,
the teacher picked
look,
them.
you can't
The
see.
teacher
I'm
picked
gonna
up the
share this
read and
picture,
like,
and then
yo.
you tell me if you can see it.
So get
man.
glasses, bro.
I'm just saying I did order new glasses today, or my first pair of glasses. Whatever,
Yes.
I'm old.
Yeah.
But the point is,
Embrace it.
in the 60s up until today,
Don't let the teacher
he
pick
was
up the
never
reins.
one that shied away from talking about the issues. And that letter could have been written today, even though it's 50 years old.
Could have been,
Yeah.
but it didn't, and it wasn't. It was
Stan Lee
in the
been
60s,
down with the cause,
and it's
you know
still
what I'm
relevant.
Right,
So.
and he's
saying?
he's been beating his drum
He was the
too.
first person to throw up the X, man, because he from the BS.
And by the way,
he was the first mother effer to rock Tim's.
I just want to clarify.
95 years old.
This is Wakanda,
Oh my God.
right? This is X-Men, not the same thing.
But he was the first mother effer to throw up the X, man. I'm saying.
This is also
Facts,
BX.
Facts.
Yes. So now, do you want to read some quotes from some people
Yes.
that he's touched?
We could read
Yeah,
some
you got
quotes
it.
from
People
you know,
that he's touched.
not people that
Easy,
he's
man.
touched. Pause,
Like
go ahead.
Said it.
some
Pause.
people that have played his characters, and
Yes.
then we'll talk about the movies.
Individuals
Obviously,
that
we'll
have
get
been
to
inspired by Stan Lee's work.
celebrities.
Celebrities.
Well,
Yes.
Okay.
Hugh Jackman says we've lost a creative
Wolverine.
genius. Stan Lee was a pioneering force in the superhero universe. I'm proud to have been a small part of his legacy and to have helped bring one of his characters to life. Stan Lee. Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool. He just says thanks for everything, Stan. Short and sweet. Rob Liefeld says R.I.P Stan Lee. We have lost a titan of creativity and industry. These are my last photos with Stan taken in August at his home. I was summoned by the man. He wanted a friendly face, a change of pace. I was up the next day. He was peaceful and comfortable and in great spirits. He sat in his favorite chair overlooking his pool and the beautiful canyons. I thank him for being a visionary, not just creatively, but being a visionary and bringing Marvel to Hollywood, knowing how well they would be served to TV and film. Kids of the 70s, kids my age, grew up with the Hulk TV show, live-action Spider-Man TV movies, Doctor Strange films on CBS. It was an exciting time, and it was a result of Stan's decision to travel west and present the Marvel characters to Hollywood. He started the Marvel Age of Comics as well as the Marvel Age of Film that we enjoy today. I have many stories from my history and travels with Stan. We never had a better ambassador, and we won't ever see another like him. All I know is the good Lord has pulled up a chair, and Stan is currently bending all the airs in the heavens with his amazing tales and lore. They are hanging on his every word and sentence. Stan Lee. Excelsior.
Who was that?
That was Rob Liefeld.
Oh man, yeah, no, all of those things are true. And again,
like I was messing up like you in the beginning, but I was like, I got.
yeah, but you didn't have to read like Sanskrit
tightened
like
up,
I had
though.
to.
Got tightened up.
I was like, look at that boy Reed. Look at that boy Reed.
And that's another thing that we should talk about. Like, it was Stan Lee who saw what Superman was doing, and he saw what the Batman TV shows were doing, and that became his role once Marvel became the big behemoth that it was. And again, it's important to understand that Marvel was just a little scrappy company, right? And Stan Lee started out in the mailroom, and then they basically had him
Atlas
just copying whatever DC was doing. Oh, DC's putting out Westerns books. You do some of those, right? And it wasn't until he was going to quit and the company was going to go out of business.
His
then
wife
the
told him to do
publisher,
a book your way.
right? The publisher said, "Write whatever you want, Stan. Who gives a shit? We're going to close the doors."
Everything is burning anyway.
And his wife because Stan Lee always wanted to be a novelist, and so his wife, like you were saying, said, "Listen, if you're gonna write this thing, write it the way you want. Don't copy those guys because that clearly isn't working." So he's like, "All right, this is my last book," and that book was the Fantastic Four, and it changed everything because at that time,
along with Jack Kirby,
all the superhero books were sort of like Superman, Batman. And these guys,
they were individual.
They didn't have personality.
No,
like
right,
Stan's
but they
characters
represented an archetype of the bygone era, the '50s man who was the the sort of the head of everything, right? Establishment is what they represented, right? And they were more based around their powers as opposed to what they could do. For them, their human, like their normal identities were the disguise. Bruce Wayne is the disguise to Batman. Clark Kent is the disguise to Superman. And it was more about what they could do, not who they were. But with the Fantastic Four, it's saw
more about the people,
and he grounded it in the real world, right? And there's a word called verisimilitude, right?
That's the first like family of like superheroes,
right? But I'm yes, that's true. But what I'm saying is because he grounded it in the real world, and gave his characters real world problems like not being able to get along with your siblings, or how are you going to pay rent,
or not liking your superpower,
right? And the power was the problem. It was people who were trying to live a normal life, but then either got cursed or burdened,
right,
with their power,
right.
and basically DC has been trying to chase that ever since then.
Right.
Whether it was in comics or it was in, now we see it today with the movies.
And it was grounded in realism of what you're dealing with, like everyday, issues.
So now,
rather than being above it all.
Regarding him bringing Marvel to Hollywood, right? See, he watched what DC was doing, and there were a bunch of attempts. Like there was the old Spider-Man TV shows, the live action stuff. I really enjoyed the Lou Ferrigno Hulk TV shows, but if you go back and look at it, it was kind of terrible.
Man, give props to Lou Ferrigno, even though he's a Trump supporter.
We're not talking about that right now. Stan Lee brought everybody together.
All I'm saying is I used to love the Incredible Hulk TV show.
I loved it too.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, try to watch it again.
Hey man,
no, but
they didn't have the technology. Who else could have played?
Here's the thing.
Played him? He was the only person who could play him, and the fact that he kind of looked like the actor, like Bill Bixby when
But the other thing about it is the way those contracts were designed before. You did not have to pay attention to the source material. Like when they did the first Captain America movie, like he was like a lawyer who rode a motorcycle. Like it just made no sense.
Right.
And so same thing with like Nick Fury, and the Hulk wasn't really the same as he was in the comics. And so, but the point is when he saw
the Hulk's name on the TV show because they thought it sounded too stupid.
Right. When he saw the X-Men movie, he said that was sort of when he knew it could really, his ideas could really be real. So we first really saw what he created in the comics in the 60s with the Spider-Man movie. Right? Because if you look at, and I'll even put this on the X-Men as well, but it wasn't until the Spider-Man movie where you cared more about Peter Parker than the Spider-Man stuff. It was like they really were character driven, right? It was character first. Every movie, even the X-Men, it was the spectacle was seeing the X-Men like just be the X-Men, seeing them use their powers.
Right.
But I think with the Spider-Man movie, it was like, well, what's going on with this kid? Like you could have took the costume off and it would have been like an interesting John Hughes type of movie.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
Spider-Man 2 was great.
Oh, one of the greats. And so I think everything sort of built from there.
Could have been so much greater. And MJ is not a nice person. FMJ.
I mean, that version
say
of
all
her.
Kind of stuff, but I don't want to be offensive to
and so the point is,
but in that movie, oh my God, is she a horrible person? It is. Watch Spider-Man 3. She's like, what about me, Peter?
I don't.
Why does everybody love you?
Spider-Man 3 is
okay. So, but this is the thing that I wanted to hone in on. This is why I think at the end of the day, this is I don't want to say like a happy day, but we should celebrate his life instead of mourning the death, because again, he was 95. And what do you think it was like, right? I hope this happens to me one day, as an aspiring writer, a person who creates characters and whatnot, where he could actually see his visions like realized in the way that the MCU has done it. He was
happy Marvel got, that Disney got Marvel because he knows that his stuff will live on forever.
Yeah, and I'm sure he was, corporate mega conglomerate merger aside, I'm sure he was happy to see now, like, Marvel has all the characters back.
But
if this Fox thing goes through.
He was. Like, he would go to Comic-Con like every year.
He was at New York Comic-Con this year when we went.
He's there all the time because he would love to interact.
I wish I would have went and waited on that line now.
Yeah. Any artist or creator would love to be able to have that moment to see their work come to fruition.
To know in 95 form, everybody still
big
loves
screen,
you
small screen, anything. When you get to see your work, that matters, And so, because you're just trying to put something out into the world, right? You have this idea in your head, and when you want to formulate it, you're not sure how you're drawing it, whatever you're writing, whatever you're creating. Any creator would love to just create. And so, at the end of the day, what Stan Lee was able to do with his talented writers and artists along the years, going through the ups and downs of losing money, bankruptcy, losing rights to characters, trying to, whore himself to a certain degree to certain publishers or whatever to keep the lights on. Anything you had to do because you have a vision, you have a plan, you have an idea that you know is good, and you're just trying to keep it going for all to enjoy. For that to actually happen, whether it's at the end of your life, the middle, or whatever, it lives on. Your name lives on. Your work lives on. You did your job. Because, our lives are not, infinite, So it lives on beyond you, and that's what matters most.
To quote Vision, a thing isn't beautiful because it lasts.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's because it has a shelf life. Or actually an expiration date.
Right? I heard Kevin Smith tell a story like he was talking to Stan's wife, and she was just like, all they ever want to talk about is Spider-Man this and Spider-Man that. But he's like, the man was such a great writer, like he wrote me poetry every day for like 50 years. Like every day would write me poetry, and people don't know how great of a writer he is because they think that's all he can do is this comic.
It's just comics, right? But it's
he always wanted to be a novelist.
Like the personality in these characters and their flaws and all of that stuff that shows that he could write other things, but people just like it's not taken seriously. But it's still, regardless of whatever. I mean, now it's like talks of these movies being nominated for Oscars, so it is being taken seriously.
Right, because you're touching on the nerve of the human condition. You're touching on human psychology and
there is something
and relationships
to be said about creating so many characters and so many stories that can speak to such a broad swath of people, right? Regardless of like people's political affiliations, regardless of people's age, right? There's just something in these stories that sort of connects us. Think about these Marvel movies, right? It's like one of the few things where you don't have this rabid, disgusting fandom. I'm not saying it's not there, but it's not like it is with some other franchises, which we're not gonna name here. Yeah. And what is it about these Marvel movies that sort of just brings everybody together?
I mean, Marvel represents everybody. Like whatever, especially now, like with this inclusion thing, it's just like there's everybody. There's an Asian Incredible Hulk. There's gay characters. There's Native American. There's all like every race is represented in comics now, and that's like a great thing.
If there wasn't if it wasn't for the Rob Liefeld, Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, Jack Kirby's, the list goes on, Todd McFarlane, and et al. But if
Bishop
it wasn't
Spawn,
for them,
Black Panther, is that what you're talking about?
What's that?
Bishop Spawn, Black Panther.
No, if it wasn't for these writers and artists, and I wouldn't have been sketching in the hallways as a young kid.
Oh no, I thought you were talking about like inclusion of these things before.
Just not inclusion. I'm just saying that if it wasn't for these guys, that I wouldn't have that spark of creativity where it's at now. Or being so consumed with comics and anime and art and all of these things. Like it's in all of our hearts.
Right, something that sparks your imagination, that makes you...
Like when I was a kid, I never drew Superman or Batman. I was always drawing like Marvel characters.
X-Men.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, firstly, but before we move forward, I just want to shout out to Miss Baldiaki and Kelly and Mimi.
Hey.
Thank you for watching. And Tamika, what's up?
Hey. Right. Thank you.
And obviously Courtney.
Court, what up?
Court just needs to come on the show.
He needs to call in.
Stan said that Black Panther
really
was
does.
his favorite film of all the Marvel films because, like, of the issues that it spoke to. He's like, he couldn't wait for people to see it, because it's just like, it's like one of the first films like you could really take it seriously.
Yeah.
That's why it's being, Oscar talk.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think some of these movies should get more credit than they do. Not all of them.
It's getting there.
But and our okay.
Lasting thoughts.
Yeah. I think that again, this should be a day for celebration and
Absolutely.
Veterans Day, right?
Would you look at that?
Right?
Going out like a G.
On Veterans Day.
I mean, I would say, well, I don't know what his birthday is, but I think there needs to be some remembrance in the public record. We need some kind of. I'm not saying a get off of school or work day, but like
that should be.
It should be
a Stan Lee Day.
December 28th was
they
when
should
he was
raise
born.
statues to this guy.
1922.
So he almost made it to 96.
With him there, like similar to this. Just Stan Lee, on top of a mountain with all his characters there and something,
Yeah, no, man. I mean, look, nobody's gonna forget this guy, right? And there's another thing about comics, right? And we can sort of, I guess, wrap it up. This is the last thing I want to say anyway. You guys can continue if you like. Comics are the American mythology, right? You can look at different cultures around the world from different
characters. Is named Thor.
Well, yeah, but but more seriously though, when you think about like the Iliad and the Odyssey, right? Or the Bible, right? We have these stories of these basically superheroes, right? And every nation and every culture has their own. Some of them have been wiped out because of the colonizers, but what America is, this the American culture has given the world comic books, and that is in large part to the work that Stan Lee did. Because what are you talking about when you're talking about a character where you're chronicling their journeys, and they live on, and they're interpreted by different people as the years go, and they all stay with us. That is what mythology is, and that's what comics are. And they have lasted, and there were many times where they may not have lasted. There are many times where Marvel could have gone out of business. There are many times where the characters could have been acquired by different companies, but it was all able to stick together and come back together in the way that it was. Again, not praising big conglomerate mergers, but the point is the characters stick around and different people get to tell those stories, and they will live on in the same way Hercules lives on, right? In the same way, I know Thor is a Marvel character, but Norse mythology lives on. These characters will, and I think that one can only be so lucky to be a part of shaping that. So that's my last Stan Lee stuff. No reason to be sad. He lived till 95. I hope that I live to 95.
He'll live forever.
And then I hope after living to 95 that my work is remembered. So I was not at any point sad today. It only made me realize my own mortality, because when you see all the people you looked up to when you were growing up.
That's how it always is. Anytime anybody dies, it's like you realize, damn,
I'm next.
At any time.
Be grateful.
Any day that you wake up, you never know when you could be taking your last breath. So basically, hug your loved ones and, enjoy life. Don't spend a moment being stressed about anything.
And hope that you live as long as Stan Lee.
Be grateful and put out work, and, you try to inspire the next generation.
Even if you live a short life, live every day like it's your last. And, be happy.
And create.
Why you be sad for?
Create and work for the generation coming, after you. That's
all
how
right.
you do it.
I think that was well said by everyone, gentlemen. Now we did have a few news topics that we'll just run through because they won't be important next week. Venom, you remember that? A Marvel character.
Black Goop.
Not a derivative of Spider-Man, created by Todd McFarlane, but wouldn't be here unless Stan Lee created Spider-Man.
Black Goop.
Opened in China this weekend. Second
and it flopped,
large.
Right?
Nope, 110 million. Second largest opening in China
ever
in history, only behind Infinity War.
Black Goop. So you're
beat
telling
Black
me
Panther,
that
beat Star Wars, beat Guardians of the Galaxy.
But it didn't beat Justice League though.
As a matter of fact,
it did.
Not only did it beat Justice League in China,
right,
all over the world, Craig.
Justice League overall,
all over the world.
So Venom, we all saw the same movie, right?
Yes.
Venom, the derivative character, beats the Justice League.
That's crazy.
Superman wasn't in Justice League, right?
Yes, he was. He wasn't in the marketing.
Batman was in Justice League.
Some version of Batman was in Justice League. Now here's the funny thing. Not to poo-poo on Justice League, Venom's worldwide total right now is 673 million, and it just opened in China. So even with diminishing returns, if it drops off 50% next week, and then another 50% the week after that, we're looking at least a $700 million haul. This thing could beat Deadpool 2, which it was only at 734.
Deadpool 2 was in a weird space though because there was a lot of competition.
Still, a lot of competition. If I would have told you a year ago that the Venom movie that didn't have Spider-Man in it,
I would have asked. No, I would have asked.
Was gonna beat Deadpool 2?
I would have asked.
You would have laughed me out of the studio.
No, where is Deadpool opening and when and what's the competition?
And then you know what else you would have asked?
What? Get that.
So is Spider-Man in this Venom movie?
Right.
Is it connected to the MCU? No, none of that.
I told you Black Goop was going to do gangbusters.
Listen.
He knew. Eminem knew.
There you go.
Listen, I don't want to get bumped with that copyright thing, man.
Greatest song of the year, bro. That glowing Venom.
So now
they ain't gonna know what hit them.
Other. Oh my God. Other news. Hollywood, or basically people from Hollywood. California's on fire. Right?
Okay.
And why is this news for us? Because we talk about TV and movies.
Is it effing up movie sets? That's why you got to shoot in New York. Like all Marvel movies.
Well, everybody's shooting in Atlanta now.
Send in the juveniles.
But apparently,
send in the convicts.
Send in the clones.
Today, we found out that Gerard Butler's home is gone. Guillermo del Toro's home is gone. Although his neighborhood's gone. I think he said his house is mostly fine. But Gerard Butler's house is totally gone. Miley Cyrus gone. Scott Derrickson, the director of Doctor Strange, house gone.
They're fine. They all are insured.
I'm sure they are, but
fun fact, gentrification.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nature's coming to reclaim. Now, here, why don't you give me that fun fact about firefighting in juveniles? Yeah. Since we're talking about fun facts.
No, I just didn't know that you could be locked up and a volunteer. Like, I didn't know.
Well, a juvenile. Told you, I know that we the new slaves. I know that we the new slaves.
Not today.
I'm finna wild the F out. I'm going Bobby Boucher.
Not today,
Kanye told you, bro.
He said
Yeezy told me.
Well, basically what I'm saying is the official Twitter account from the Office of Corrections said that they are using juvenile delinquents to help put out the fire.
And convicts.
Yeah.
But they're volunteering.
Yo, man, they didn't know they was reading. They know that niggas can't
read. Anyway, moving on. Some more news. Apparently,
you feel the heat increasing?
Tom Cruise.
Okay.
The reason that Top Gun 2 got delayed is because Tom Cruise decided he's going to be flying all the jets. He's going to be doing all the action scenes for the fighter jets.
This might be the movie he dies.
Here's the thing.
Nah.
It's not like you can see him flying the jet.
Tom Cruise can't die.
Hold on. It's not like you can see him flying the jet. They're just going to be filming the jet flying. Yes. Why does Tom Cruise need to actually be the one flying it?
Because it's Tom Cruise.
He's Tom Cruise. The thetan levels is through the roof.
It's Tom Cruise.
They're going to put the damn freaking cameras on the outside of this shit so you see it's really him. And then he's going to jump out of the plane and he's going to be in the parachute and all that stuff and you're going to see it's really him ejecting out the damn plane.
That's right. Put some perspective to this, right? He's not going to win. And
Tom Cruise is immortal, bro.
Oscar. right?
Right.
But
it's all that.
Look at what he's doing.
Tom Cruise has been nominated several times to win Oscars, and he could win an Oscar when he wants. I think what he's doing,
he has to do a serious movie. Right?
He's done a bunch of serious movies.
He hasn't gotten anything yet.
No, but here's the thing.
That's crazy.
What'd you say?
No, you don't need to.
Okay.
So
no, but the point is, what I think he's doing, he knows his action days have a shelf life, so he's trying to do as much cool things as he can, and then get back to the drama stuff, like Interview with a Vampire or Magnolia.
Tom Cruise doesn't have a shelf life.
That's true. That's true.
So
as long as he's gonna be eating those stem cells, he'll be.
So when's Risky Business 2 coming out?
Yeah, it's called Risky Business. Flying a fighter jet when you don't have to.
Yeah.
Okay, now
but that's not even the craziest thing he's done. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah, like hanging on the outside of a Boeing 747 while it takes off.
Right.
Cause F it.
You didn't see in Mission Impossible 2 when he was doing cartwheels, climbing up a damn rock with no damn wires?
Yeah.
Or jumping from roof to roof.
Breaking his leg.
Yo, bro, man.
Tom Cruise. Okay.
Listen, give him credit, man. Fearless.
Now, next. So Disney, via the head honcho Bob Iger,
he could do something about it.
Actually,
think about the level of realism that he's bringing to a film while things continue to go to the world of CG.
Yo, man, he's greater than Jackie Chan.
Like, he's telling you, wow, come on. He's telling you, I can die.
I've seen Jackie Chan do some crazy stuff, though.
Yeah,
I would consider Tom Cruise the American Jackie Chan.
I'm sorry, Jackie Chan. I was just joking.
I wouldn't go
before you get kicked in the face and rumble in the not Bronx.
Tom Cruise is Tom Cruise. He's doing
that's true. Now, okay, but moving on.
Tom Cruise is
there were always
Jackie
rumors about the Disney streaming service, but we actually got hard details.
Hey, what is it called?
Disney Plus.
Oh, okay.
And it will have hubs. I like this actually, right? Because
so
they may not want to.
PLUS or
no,
just
the sign, right?
Okay.
Now,
so is it called Disney Plus sign?
But I like the way that they're doing it in silos, right? So you can be in the Pixar section of the service. Right. You can be in the Disney proper section of the service. Right. Or you can be in the Marvel section of the service.
Or the Lucasfilms
or the Star Wars section, yes.
Right.
And so I may not care about the other stuff, but I'll just live in the Marvel place all day.
Oh my God, I'm watching an X-Men animated series.
That is dope if they launch with all of that stuff, and they say they're gonna launch it at the end of 2019.
Watching
that's when the contracts end, right? For, Netflix.
I'm watching the terrible Spider-Man show. I'm watching the Incredible Hulk show that you hated.
The service is. I didn't hate it. I said I love that show, but it wasn't.
It's great.
I said go back.
Blasphemy.
So anyway, are they able to take all Marvel properties that's ever existed?
Here's the thing.
You seen the Hulk
Fox
movie with
put out most of those.
Daredevil was his lawyer, the OG one. Where Daredevil was his lawyer. You ever seen that?
I did not.
And Daredevil was wearing the costume that he was wearing in the Netflix joint, his original costume.
Do-rag costume?
Yep, he was wearing that, and people hated on it.
Do-rag Daredevil is the best Daredevil.
People hated on it so bad on the TV show, but that's his original costume.
Right. Did Stan Lee create Daredevil?
No.
Is that one of his?
No, I'll Google it just to fact check myself.
But okay, I'm just saying that's great cinema. Go back and watch that.
Now, in regards to that service, they also confirmed, because they were talking about a bunch of shows, but they confirmed that Tom Hiddleston has officially signed on to do a Loki show.
Created by Stan Lee.
Loki's not dead. He faked it again. Spoiler.
With an unspecified amount of input by Jack Kirby.
Easy.
Man, they're just playing their whole hand.
Okay, so
Loki's such a trickster.
Details have emerged on the upcoming Deadpool movie that is coming out.
Yeah.
Now
they're trying to get them Venom numbers.
Now,
by Jack Kirby.
So the title of the film, it's a PG-13 Deadpool movie, in case you guys didn't know.
Stan Lee and Bill Everett.
But the title of the film is Once Upon a Deadpool. Right?
So does this count to the same total as the original movie?
That is a good question, because it has a different title. See, when they did re-releases for Star Wars and Titanic, they still had the same title.
And the money
this has
still
a
went
different
to it. Yeah.
This has a different title, so I'm not sure. And it has new scenes, so I'm not sure how that works. We'll have to see if it counts towards it.
Like when they release a remix album or the remix, like it still goes to the spins of the first one?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's a good question, and I don't know the answer to that.
It's like they should just call it Deadpool 2, the remix.
How long is this film?
This movie
produced by Puff Daddy.
No, it's going to be about 2 hours.
A runtime of 2 hours?
Yeah, they don't have an official runtime yet, but what we do know is that it will only be in theaters for 2 weeks.
Okay.
And it is being every $1 of every ticket sales goes towards
Fudge Cancer.
Yes, which was renamed only for that 2-week period from Fuck Cancer. And we can say fuck cancer because it's cancer.
Is Mary Poppins comes out around that time, right?
Mary Poppins, y'all.
It does, but
and
Deadpool is going to be running from the 12th
is Mary Poppins, I'm not going to see the movie because that was a blown opportunity.
So
what if there's a
trying to like get back at well, down there together?
I don't think they're trying to get back. I think that they are trying to see if this will work.
Can we tone it down and still keep the audience?
Will it still be funny?
Right.
And maybe Deadpool can make it work. Also,
so this is Disney's filthy hands all in it.
Courtney, what quote do you want sent?
No, I sent it to him already.
Okay.
I sent it to him because I couldn't send a picture. He's talking about my Stan Lee Hooked on Phonics
rendition of
yes, but I couldn't read it because it was very small text.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Be clear, I need glasses too, but I read way better live than you.
You didn't have to read
bars.
You didn't have to read what I have to read.
That's it. Nah, you're done.
Oh, jeez. Okay, now also
you're done.
Trailers came out, or at least one teaser trailer and one full trailer for Toy Story 4. Did you guys see that?
Yes.
What'd you think about it?
I think the movie's gonna deal with the mythology of how toys come to life, because the toy was
they
like,
do
he's
play...
like, I don't belong here. It was a spork, and it had a face drawn on it with a twisty tie for arms and legs.
They
and
do
it's just,
like
it
the
was
original
alive.
toy.
But how do toys come alive?
They do play fast and
life.
loose in the Toy Story mythology. They play fast and loose on what inanimate objects can have life, right?
Right.
So why can one piece of plastic have life but not like another piece of plastic?
What we're gonna find out is Andy is a paranoid schizophrenic. Sid is a paranoid schizophrenic. So was that little girl who got the toys in the last one. They're all crazy, and that's why they can see the toys talking.
Yo, I just thought about something.
That's very dark.
Hold on. I'll do you one better. I'll do you one better.
It's very dark.
I'll do you one better.
Like,
hold on.
What if this a kids movie?
What if Toy Story been stopped being a kids movie?
Only Sid saw them talking, so that's just a concept.
What if? Hold on. What if the humans were the actual toys?
What if we're all crazy and all these toys were saying still the whole time, but we just seeing them move in our minds?
Cause Andy is hooked on LSD.
What's happening?
Hold on. He's on LSD, and so think about it. No. This could work.
Right. What?
I said, what if this whole thing is just Andy tripping on LSD?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's an interesting film.
Okay.
I have no input.
Or what if Andy knew they could move the whole time and he just never said anything?
Yeah, he was just there like, yo, these things are watching me jack off.
Damn. Okay.
Right, see? Off the rails. It's happening.
Man,
Detective Pikachu trailer. The Detective Pikachu trailer drops with Ryan Reynolds somehow as Pikachu.
Deadpool.
So it's live action Pikachu?
Yes. I sent you the trailer.
I didn't see it.
You did not watch it.
I don't know how I feel about that.
So I was never like.
So all he says is Pika Pika?
What? No, he talks,
enjoyed
and he's surprised
Pokemon
that the kid can understand him.
Pokemon was popping as a kid.
Never rocked with it. Oh, we got some comments. Hold on. Got to back it up. You guys go ahead. Let me get to these comments.
Love Pokemon. Pokemon was the ish all through.
Apparently, Jesse likes to a little story time there.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so Jesse says much respect for the firefighters and EMs. Send all the fighters and first responders. Yes. Jesse also says Scientology will protect him.
Yeah,
yes, it will.
Yeah, that's facts.
The thetan levels are through the roof. Courtney says don't disrespect Jackie Chan.
I take it back. I take it back.
Yeah. Oh, and Courtney says, Jesse says we just took Toy Story to a whole new level.
Yeah.
I'm on a new level.
Okay. Now,
Pikachu.
Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
Basically, Deadpool is Pikachu.
A little weird.
He doesn't even try to change his voice.
Is this PG-13?
I don't know.
Wait, he talks like Ryan Reynolds?
Yes.
Yeah, he talks like
talks
Ryan
exactly like Deadpool.
I'm gonna see it.
And he's surprised that anyone can hear, because everybody else just hears Pika
it's only
Pika.
one person who
but the kid hears him talk.
Ash.
Yeah.
No, it's
well,
not
I don't know
Ash.
if it's Ash. It's the kid. The
it's
kid
a
from
lot
the
of
Get
kids.
Down.
Pokemon?
No, the kid from the Get Down.
Is there other Pokemon, or is it just...
Yes, but they don't talk.
It's all Pokemon.
Yeah.
It's a biracial kid.
Yeah.
Who,
it's the kid from the Get Down on Netflix.
When is this coming out?
Who apparently this year, or maybe next year. Maybe next year.
It can't be this year.
No, it's next year.
Because then you're trying to kill Aquaman out here, bro. Like, damn.
So here's the thing.
Aquabro killed himself.
Here's the thing.
Like
I just want to address why is this kid from the Get Down, like, is he just Hollywood's new thing? We're just gonna go with him and put him in everything?
Well, biracials are the new thing.
Okay.
What else was he in?
Jurassic World.
Oh yeah. What else?
That's it.
I think he was in something else.
That's it.
No, I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it. Don't worry. But you saw the trailer.
That's
yeah,
why you
I
should
did.
Google
Tell me
this
what
shit.
you think. I know you don't have thoughts, but tell me. Just interpret it. Don't give it a you don't have to judge it, but just what you think about it, regardless of how you feel about it. If that makes any sense.
Remove my feelings from, but judge the film. I mean, judge what I saw.
Yes.
Okay, so make a judgment, but remove my feelings.
Yes. You have to be dispassionate when you judge.
Okay. Well, from what I saw in the trailer, it looks interesting enough that it's a young man who can talk to Pikachu, but Pikachu looks like
Detective
a puppet,
Pikachu.
right? Like he looks like a
It's
furry
all
puppet.
CG.
But no. But Pikachu looks different compared to the other Pokemon.
Does he look like his animated self?
No.
Yes,
Not
he
at all.
does. Yes, he does. He looks like the
Well, he
cartoon.
looks. Yeah, I mean, he looks like Pikachu.
Yeah,
but
and
he
he
looks
could
like
shock.
this.
He could
He
do
looks
this-
like a furry.
A plush animal.
Yeah,
Yes.
like a plush animal. But the rest of the Pokemon don't.
Let me just send you
They
guys
look-
the-
they look
the-
and
the-
yeah, they look like
the
CG
link to this, so
characters.
you guys can see.
That's what's weird about it.
I think
And I
this
think
movie.
it's because of
It's gonna work
the
because
motion.
everybody likes Ryan
of him
Reynolds.
talking.
I
Like
think
Ryan
this movie
Reynolds.
makes no sense whatsoever.
I'm gonna see it because of Ryan Reynolds.
And Pikachu himself looks old and dusty, right? Like he's been battle scarred.
He's a detective, and the kid. He's gonna help the kid find his dad. I just shared the trailer.
And he talks to him like he's a kid.
Yes. So
This is like Ted with Pokemon.
that's perfect. See, dispassionate. You just judged it for what you saw. I am proud of you, sir. You get a golf clap.
I don't want a golf clap.
Too late.
All right.
All right. What else do we have? Because I think we had one more story, and then we're gonna shove off out of here. Let me check
Jesse
my notes.
says, "Did you guys see the news? Zombieland 2 is dropping October 2019."
I will believe that crap when I see it. I don't. That was been supposed to drop since 19. How long? I don't believe it. That's what I
That's a
think.
movie that had Bill Murray in it, right?
Yeah, Zombieland 2 is
You
dropping.
think Bill Murray comes back?
No, unless he's gonna come back as a zombie. But no,
Yeah, why not?
Wait, Zombieland 2 is coming out?
Zombies be talking now.
I don't think it's happening. But they say it's happening.
Speaking of Walking Dead,
Okay, and the last thing that I had, aside from this She-Ra, they showed some. There's an extended trailer for the She-Ra show on Netflix. I think that's pretty. Okay.
Right.
Also, one more thing.
Right.
The Mowgli trailer drops, and it shows some story, and it looks quite interesting. Not gonna lie.
I think
Mowgli
the animals
always
look real
looks
cartoony. They don't look as real as they did in the Disney one.
Yeah, Disney had like $100 million to do some
mess
extra
around.
rendering.
I'm just saying it ain't gonna be the same without the I want to be like you, and the bare necessities.
Listen, as Andy
You
Serkis
need
said, this
the
is
music.
not your daddy or your daddy's Jungle Book. This is not.
Also, there's gonna be bestiality in it.
Okay.
He is a wolf, or is he a monkey, or is he a bear? What is he? Because he's trying to find himself
But why
as a boy.
But
adolescence.
why is bestiality involved?
Because he doesn't know what he is.
Okay,
He's trying to
you
be-
know what
is
I'm
he a
gonna do?
man cub?
I'm gonna move us
What
right
is he?
on. Here's one more thing. John Cena, for some reason, posted
John Cena.
on his Instagram account a picture of a Captain America shield with Captain America with
Black Panther scratches on it?
Black Panther scratch. Although that's not really Black Panther scratch because Black Panther scratched it with 2 hands,
Right.
and this is only 5 scratches.
Yes.
Right.
So what do we think that is? Sabretooth, anyone? No?
No.
Anybody? No.
John Cena is going to be the next Captain America.
Is that what it is? Did he post that? Did he post that like after the election or on election day?
November 4th, so it was before the election. He posted it.
He puts photos up with no descriptions. That's
maybe it was just a political statement. Or maybe it's just like him just putting it out there because he wants people to talk. Maybe he's campaigning for it.
Inception.
Yeah.
All right.
No speculation needed. But he is buying for a Marvel character.
Hey, Courtney, did you watch The Walking Dead? Because apparently these guys didn't watch it and they don't.
Yo, was Rick in it? Hold on, was Rick in the episode? Did I miss it?
No, Rick wasn't.
Oh, Rick wasn't in it. Okay.
Yo, Courtney, now if you want to talk about it, say something. Me and you can talk about it back and forth.
I don't even care if you spoil it. You can't talk about it actually. All right, this is the last thing I had. Unless Courtney comes, unless you guys want to talk about Walking Dead, you can do so.
Anybody?
Overlord came out this weekend. Kind of flopped at the box office, but it got great reviews. I think it's almost at 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. Right. It is like
they made me watch
all
that show
thriller, no filler.
See,
right?
Courtney said basically he saw it and he's waiting for
it. It is
in all caps.
Basically, if Wolfenstein was a movie, that is what Overlord is, right?
Right.
Why do I bring this up? Aside because it's a movie show, the
Jesse
director
said she watched it too. Boom.
The director of Overlord has signed on.
Thanks, I appreciate y'all. At least y'all are with me.
The director of Overlord has signed on to make the Flash Gordon movie.
Flash,
and if it does not feature the original Queen song,
Flash Gordon,
they have one job.
Yeah.
One job is to include the original Queen theme song.
You have to. You gotta play that.
All right.
They made a whole soundtrack for that.
I guess if you guys want to talk about Walking Dead, have at it. Yes. I am in the I don't give an F section of the show.
Episode was very
U.S. agent. I like what Court did there.
That is good.
Yeah.
I don't have this comments.
It could be U.S. agent. I like it. But Walking Dead was good. It was alright. It wasn't even whack. I like the way they're going with it. Yo, Scarrow is back in a big way. The way she just killed everybody, she just torched the whole place on fire. Like burning mother effers alive. She was just like, yo, you can mess with me, but don't mess with the babies. This is what you get. Whole lot.
So I did watch. I tried. It was. I had to struggle to get through the episode. Like I watched the first 10 minutes, and I was like, all right, I'm pushing through this. And then I got to 20 minutes, and I was like, wait, Rick's not showing up. I don't care. I couldn't get through it. But from what I did see, how do you feel about Michonne running security? Did you buy that? Her
Michonne always been running security.
No, I'm not talking about her running security.
In Alexandria, they had gave her the job as head of security. She was walking around with a security guard shirt on.
But her being the leader,
top flight security.
No,
in the world.
I'm just saying, patting people down and doing stuff like that. Did that feel, or walking out like?
Yes, because the bitch had knives on her. 2. She only found 1, but the bro was gonna try to sneak thief her. And in the night, she saw, baby Rick. Shout out to Rick, because Rick did shoot up the club because we was worried because she was.
Hold on, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question though. Let me ask you a question though. Did he though?
Did he, or was it Negan? Was it Negan? Did she bend over in front of the cell and it's Negan's disgusting. Baby? Oh, crazy.
Okay. You know what? I think it should just end on that. The drama, the saga continues.
Wait, so Courtney says y'all can't play with his emotions like that.
Yes, man.
He's not yet human. Yo-Yo.
Michonne had to remind everybody who she was. That's what he's saying.
She had to, okay.
And Jesse says she's loving the direction it's going, not digging Carol's long hair. Love Rick Jr. Yes.
Okay, let's talk about one thing, though. Why do we not address the elephant in the room? They addressed this in the Walking Dead Telltale
Yo, where's
games.
Maggie, though?
She's gone. She's not coming back. No fanfare. Nothing. Like, her last episode was just when Rick left.
So who's running it over there? Is it Jesus?
Who cares? She didn't even say, like, I'm leaving. I got to find myself. She's just gone out the show. Never to return.
So we're never to return. She's just out there.
All right. You'll know the temperature of how they deal with this person's... I just forgot
Jesse,
the name.
I'm not feeling Carol's long hair either.
If she is, like, just eating... like randomly, like off screen, like they just show like
Lori,
like like Jesus just walks up and it's like, wait, what's going on?
Oh,
Maggie!
By the way,
and then she's just getting like torn up by a walker. You don't see her face.
Yo, she wants to go stay with Martha Stewart and them.
This is dumb though, and this is what I was saying about Michonne as the leader. So Michonne got to jump over the table to go pat her down because she had a jail tattoo. We're judging people because they went to jail. They were in jail in their previous life.
Yeah.
Like what?
Because her body language, everybody else was peaceful and humble. She was standoffish. With? She's like, I did what I had to do, and she was standoffish. It wasn't just this, but Michonne being, she had a security, she sees all of this shit, and she's like, why are you so standoffish? And you try, if anything, you're trying to be on the humble because you're trying to get them to accept
I understand,
you.
but why pick on a jail tattue? That feels
it's
like everybody here is murderers.
It's not the jail tattoo, but why are you hiding weapons on you?
But why? I understand the why you had. That's wrong, right?
The whole thing is we're trying to see if we could trust you, and then you're.
But why not go straight?
Plus, the bitch was trying to kill her. If she didn't see Rick Jr., she was gonna sneak thief her in the middle of the goddamn night. That's what she was trying to do. So how are you to say Michonne is wrong?
I'm not saying
she was supposed to judge her.
Yeah, but not off of a jail tattoo.
It wasn't just that.
But why even bring it up? It was a pointless thing to bring up.
No, but she was just saying, like, you can't just be, because everybody was just ready to accept this, bro, but she was just there like, boom, I'm going to put this elephant in the room just so y'all know that, okay, don't be just so, we're going to accept everybody. That's how you get killed.
Be more angry with the writers and who put the identifier. Who put the tattoo as the identifier of the character?
I'm saying she could have went straight for the belt and the knife.
Right, but it's just they.
Yeah, it's a strong possibility that Negan is the damn father, because Negan was having conversations with the kid and like helping her with her homework. Why would she go to Negan for help with her damn homework?
Negan is daddy.
Yeah. Oh, this is another thing I want to ask you, and we have always like been champions of diversity, but do you think The Walking Dead has become? It's almost like too perfectly diverse.
They have deaf characters now. That's crazy. Hearing impaired, like the one who was one of them is hearing impaired and one is completely deaf.
Jesse says it's all about inclusion.
No, it is. It absolutely is. It absolutely is.
You're a liability because you can't hear nothing coming. It's like everybody got to always be watching you. Like, yo, they stepping on twigs. You don't hear that?
To be fair, though, if you're starting the world over, that's the perfect opportunity to get rid of all of those separators that we have. Right. And it's like you are either on team living or team dead, right? So it doesn't matter. So I think that's the perfect. So I guess it makes sense, but it felt like they just were like, okay, let's check every box possible.
Right.
Let's talk about how Father Gabriel is out here getting all the box. Like he's banging
Episcopalian,
Jadis.
man.
Yo, he banging Jadis. He banging freaking what's her name, Rosita.
He's getting mad.
Let's talk about how freaking Eugene came out there like he's super thug now. He's just like leading the pack. He was there stabbing people first.
That's that ponytail life.
He got the ponytail. Yo, but then he did some rookie mistake stuff like tripping over his ponytail when he climbed up the damn water tower and dropped his whole bag, and then the horses ran off like whoops.
Slipping
over
there goes Eugene. No. Okay,
then
so
he was
Jesse
trying to confess his love to
group...
Rosita because he's like, I remember when I used to watch you bang, when Abraham, and I used to jack off in the corner, and I've been in love with you since then. She's like, yo, Eugene, shut the F up. It's not a good time. Don't make this shit awkward.
Okay, so Jesse says this group reminded me of when Rick and them first came to Alexandria. They were willing to kill Nope. Rick was about that life, just bit out necks, killed the damn
Rick was
cannibals.
like, yo, we're taking this shit from them.
These people ain't doing nothing close to that.
Yeah. We're taking this
hours. You remember Rick just started? You know when Rick went crazy when he started laughing? It's like, oh, I'm taking your girl.
It's Mr. Steal Your Girl. The Rick stick, bro.
It is not the same. I'm sorry, Jesse.
It was hours earlier that he just bit somebody's neck out.
No, but not only did he bite the necks out, he also killed the people in Terminus, right? When they had him tied up, and he's like, yo, I'm going to kill you with this axe.
Those are some dope episodes.
Man. Yo! Came there.
But basically, it's Carol saved him because she, with the commotion, like he had a chance to react and do something.
But he just knew.
Yeah.
Because he saw the script. Now, I think that's it. Maybe we should just do some mini Walking Dead discussions on Mondays. Who knows? I don't know.
People obviously are still interested, bruh. I'm telling you, it's our highest rated stuff, and it's not even in the tags to get us more views, but there's that.
I mean,
I'm just saying. Tell these guys you want it. You want Walking Dead.
If you guys say you want it, I guess we'll do it. But it's hard, man.
Yeah. Put Walking Dead in the tags later, LeVar.
Maybe we'll just do a one-man show. All right, folks. Again, R.I.P to Stan Lee.
Yes.
He was the GOAT.
Excelsior, Stan. Excelsior.
Yes, sir. So tell them where they can find you, good sir.
You can find me at the Do the Bides with the Z and a couple periods in between on your Instagrams. You can find me at LeVar Johnson on Facebook. And you could always find me here every Monday, at various times. But the same time.
And maybe we're going to start like a Sunday night show for you where you could talk about current events, which include music and stuff.
Talk about stuff that's popping.
People, I need you guys to get in contact with LeVar and harass him to get him to start that show.
If y'all want a LeVar show, leave it in the comments.
It'll be all the crap talking, unfiltered.
LeVar,
are you not entertained?
So we're just putting that out there.
Thinking about
Mr. Woods,
the unmitigated
that
goal.
Works. Yeah.
Where can they find you, Mr. Woods?
You can find me on most social media platforms at whywoodswhynot.com. Or
Jesse said she's a deadhead for life. She wants to show.
Or whywoodswhynot.com. Yes.
Sorry, Abby. I just wanted to read the last comment. But
and you can find me at your favorite social media network, as long as it's not Snapchat, at Steve A.M. Johnson. You can also find me tomorrow on the second page where we are going to go over those midterm results and these recounts and see how all of that
Trump
plays
said
out.
F numbers don't matter.
Unless they're in his favor.
Yeah.
But that's it, folks. And maybe we'll have a show on Sunday called The Unmitigated Goal with LeVar. Unfiltered. Yeah. We'll see. Up to you guys.
And Yabi's articles is coming.
Yes, and also we set up the Patreon, so you can go to patreon.com/R2Network.
No, I do have something.
And if you want to help us keep the lights on,
man. We're trying to promote. Steve's got games coming out. I got a show maybe. If you
or we could talk about the Patreon so we could get paid for this show.
That's what I'm saying. Donate.
R2.
A nickel a day will, help Steve get a haircut.
Yes. But patreon.com/R2Network. We're going to create some more tiers, and you will get exclusive content there. And once we hit a certain number of patrons, we're going to create a private show just for you guys. Also, you'll be able to get us in our own private chat so we can all have unfiltered conversations on the off hours. So check it out, or at least tell your friends about it.
Exclusive content.
You don't want to hear my unfiltered conversations.
Maybe you do, but they're going to have to pay. All right, folks, that is it.
Onlyfans.com.
Hugs.drugs and Excelsior.
Excelsior.